Hello, good evening. This is the Saltier podcast. It's here, everywhere. Uh, I never have the roll ready when it comes, and that's what we got. Hello, everybody. We are the podcast that streams to you on Mondays on various networks. We got YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can also occasionally watch us on social media, posting on our Instagram. I want to say that's salt underscore tier pod. I don't remember which one that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere else should just be Salt Tier Podcast. Same with Twitter. My name is Sage Bell. Loud and Brown's not here this week, so I get to stumble over our intro. We are sponsored by New Belgium. Well, we're sponsored by Voodoo Ranger, which is a beer.
Fantastic beer.
Good job.
Fantastic beer. Employee owned.
Fantastic beer.
B Corp certified. Local.
Local.
Yeah. I am drinking a Mountain Time. I'm actually drinking it out of a Pokemon cup with some apple juice.
That is a nice cup.
Thank you.
Mountain Times in New Belgium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
Tell me more about it.
It's kind of light. It's a premium lager.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of like a bite to it, kind of like a really dry apple, which is why I kind of mixed some apple juice with this because it kind of went with that. And I was feeling a little dehydrated, so I figure if I added something actually hydrating to it, it could probably like cancel itself out.
Except for the sugar portion.
Yeah, no getting around that, but yeah, it's good stuff. So Voodoo Ranger, New Belgium. You guys out there probably know them for Fat Tire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely good stuff.
I have the Atomic Pumpkin spicy release.
I keep forgetting to look for that. I haven't been out in a while.
It's really hard to find. Apparently, on the west side, it's nearly impossible. I met somebody at a Halloween party who was like brought a single case because she could only find one out of like 5 places she went.
Did they make people fight over that? Like, did you have to earn it?
Are they like Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
I guess. Or if you just go to the right store, you find a whole bunch and you can just get your case without having to fight anyone.
Nice.
I played some video games this week, but I also went to Atlanta. So I primarily played my Switch on the airplane.
Nice.
So that was me playing some more Zelda that I haven't been playing. All I do is run to shrines and climb up towers. So I've explored most of the map for the towers. I almost have it completely unlocked.
Nice.
And what have you been doing, Russ, for the last week?
Oh, this is the Saverings. ... Hello, everyone. I've been doing much of nothing. I've just been working, and I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. In case you guys thought I had moved on to something else. I did see that they announced a new pack for Stellaris. It's a species pack. There's going to be aquatics, so basically like underwater alien, basically Mon Calamari. They're adding to the game. So like space, so like water and underwater based spaceships. So yeah, the Mon Calamari. That's what it is. The last 2 expansions have officially made this the Star Wars expansion. Have officially added Star Wars stuff to it. So if you wanted to mod it or just role play that, you probably could get away with a little bit of Star Wars RP in Stellaris right now. They added clone armies. They added aquatic species. They added galactic republics.
Wait. So they have Jar Jar Binks?
I guess in a way you could make a whole trash Jar Jar Binks empire if you wanted to. The computer does act like Jar Jar Binks for sure in that game sometimes. The AI. But yeah, I've just been playing Final Fantasy, gearing up for the expansion here in the next month or so. That would be Endwalker. And I've just been grinding, and I've been playing on 2 different characters, 2 different servers. Because I have an alt on another one I play with my fiance until she can transfer her character to my server. But that's been about it. And as far as for my job, like I said, I've been working. I actually test games or use games as a benchmark for things. So yeah, just been looking and playing a lot of games by default, whether I was working or doing it for leisure. But that's about it. And I'll kick it to our guest this week, but he's been on the show a few times.
Yep.
So at this point, he's kind of an alternative. He's kind of a alternative host since Loud and Brown's out this week. What's up, man? Tell me who you is.
So Vince here. Vince Rants on Twitch, which is actually important now, or DarkaneMX on Twitter. And I say that because I was actually streaming this weekend. Like I haven't streamed in like months. So I've been working on building out my retro game collection right now. Like you might be able to notice, I'm actually legitimately on a Japanese Game Boy camera right now, which is freaking awesome. But I was playing a lot, or what I was streaming was the N64 DD, so the expansion for the N64, the hardware expansion, the disc drive that came out in Japan. There's conflicting reports if there's 15,000 or 30,000 that were produced. So whatever that number is, one of them is now mine. And I was playing Disney's Magical Tetris, which I always loved that game. And then I was playing around with the F-Zero X expansion kit. So it has like a track editor, a car editor, extra tracks, a whole bunch of extra features, and so yeah, that's just been a whole lot of fun. And then of course I'm just digging around with things like I said, like the Game Boy camera here, just for fun.
That's what everybody wanted. That and the was it Mother? Was it Mother 3 on the 64 DD?
Mother 3 was supposed to come out on the DD. Officially, there's only 9 games in one application, and I have 8 of those 10 discs total right now. So I'm trying to find the last 2, but they're super freaking rare. I've not seen any listings at all.
Okay. Nice. So congratulations on that 64 DD.
Yeah, thank you. One
of the most awesome pieces of basically vaporware ever made.
Yeah, it is literally vaporware. It's probably the least selling console Nintendo ever produced. There's less of those than Virtual Boys.
I was going to say it was either that or the Virtual Boy, but no, even that sold a couple 100,000.
Yeah, because the DD only came out in one region. It was so bad.
Or was it just ahead of its time, I think?
It was delayed by like 3 years.
Yeah.
No, go look up the history. It is really, really bad.
Oh, I remember following it back in the day. It was crazy. Yeah. Like I used to just want that. I had a picture of it on my wall. I was like, is this thing ever going to come out? Yeah.
So yeah, I had to resort to importing one. But the one caveat to that, the importer that I got it from had the original shipping box from Nintendo. So the actual just brown cardboard box that the nice box is inside of. And that's what they shipped it to me in. Somebody is selling just that brown cardboard box on eBay right now for $48,000
because it's eBay and people do that all the time.
Yeah, it's just something. It was just a cardboard box, a Nintendo, a custom Nintendo logo, and that's it. And I have one just sitting on my counter now.
So I'm
rich
for it.
Yeah, you're rich. Yeah,
I paid nothing close to that.
I mean, I feel like you can't judge what something's selling for. You have to judge for what has sold.
That's why I'm watching the auction and just waiting to see if some sucker is going to do it.
Yep. Yep. Somebody went through all that trouble to bid all that money and then like never read the description.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be so sad.
Weren't there people buying like PS5 boxes with like rocks in it, like
or just the printouts on paper?
Yep.
There's literally printouts on paper of people selling the quote unquote consoles, photos of the consoles.
I feel like I'm talking to the past right now just by looking at your camera.
Right? Yeah, you're
I am literally the embodiment of retro gaming. That's going to be my theme going forward.
Yeah, you're talking through us like a wormhole from like 2002.
No, this is 80s or 90s. This is like mid 90s.
This feels like 97, and we're gonna see a dinosaur come in and eat you on the screen.
Because we had dinosaurs in the 90s. At least that's what TV taught me.
A laser raptor.
I mean,
I thought they went extinct
Jurassic Park did.
thousands of years ago. Yeah, laser raptors.
Yep.
Just a little 8-bit dinosaur comes out.
Shout out to T-Rex on the Apple IIe. I used to have that game. It was literally a little pixelated T-Rex.
I want to get another Apple II. I lost mine in a move like 20 years ago, and I want to get another one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time watching those like retro PC build channels, where like they'll build like a badass like $5,000 PC from like 1992.
Well, I told you on a previous one I built a Voodoo 5 rig. So yeah, that was one of my pandemic projects a year ago. But now I've gotten into just straight consoles at this point now that PC is basically done.
Nice. That was my first graphics card, Voodoo 3D effects.
They were good stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I think that was everybody's first graphics card because there wasn't 3D cards before that.
Yeah, there was, but they were like super. There was like 3 of them, and they were
so niche, and you had to have like only one game supported each, and
everything was still running in software. So I got that. I got it saved up, and I bought it at a computer swap meet for like I don't know $60
nice.
back in the day. and I was score, and I went home and I plugged it in, and I've been playing the first Half-Life, and I was about an hour or two into it, and I got that card, and I started from the beginning, and I was like, oh my, like never again will I
It's
ever
a
play
completely
without a
different
graphics
game.
card. Yeah, I was like,
It
I
is
would
a
never
completely
play.
different game.
I would never play without a graphics card again, ever. Yep. That started me on my road to my graphics snobbishness.
Whew. I don't know how to segue that.
Graphics snobbishness. What we got here? Oh,
Yeah.
well, you could say coming from a company where things were happening in kind of a cliquish fashion, like things were, there was kind of one group of people kind of against the
Yeah.
other, I guess you could kind of say.
Speaking of Blizzard,
Yeah.
our famed cowboy has finally been renamed.
Workplace harassment solved, everyone. Everyone go
Yep,
home.
you know.
They changed the cowboy's name. Everyone, sexual harassment in the workplace has been solved. Thank you, Blizzard.
I've seen a lot of people post that, but I do just want to say like one thing on the side of that is that they've made a lot of different changes, not just one. So but every time they make one change, that comment just gets reiterated over and over again as if all the other changes were completely.
I mean, also, but look
exist.
at what happened with the lawsuit. A 2-year investigation. They were going to get sued by the state. They settled out of court for like $18 million. Like,
no. There's more than one lawsuit. The second lawsuit's still going on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Give us.
There was actually news on that literally today, where the court rejected the Blizzard's dismissal. So the second lawsuit, the bigger one, is still going on. It was the small one that got dismissed or got settled. Okay. And then the other thing, it was about a week ago. It was on one of the gaming sites. There's been at least 10 employees ejected from the company, and at least 10 that had internal disciplinary actions that are still in the company. So there are other actions. It's just things like this are getting way overshadowing everything else that's going on.
Okay, so we can kind of scratch out a little bit, or we can move that hold employees accountable thing down, like maybe down a step. We'll swap that with create a safe work environment. We'll swap those. It'll be the lower step there. Okay.
Yeah, because like by changing his name, they made the work environment safer. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he was the name of an employee.
Now he's named after a what do we say? A sex worker?
Yeah, there's actually a pornographic actress named Cassidy Cole. So everybody's like, oh. And you know what? And I'm assuming it was an innocent mistake. I'm assuming nobody was like, aha, like let me see what I can get away with. But still, that's very unfortunate. And
they should have just went that down. They literally should have just gone to Google and typed in the name before they agreed to it.
Yep.
Yeah, Cole Cassidy even sounds like a stripper name, but it's
yeah.
He's going to be like, stripping down to his like metal leg and stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that them there?
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy Cole, nice. The porn star.
Cassidy Cole and Cole Cassidy. There's also another famous Cassidy Cole who's like a famous artist who's like still around and like that stuff. So when you went to Google this, it pulled up a lot of
interesting articles.
Yeah.
I could see her with a beard and a hat.
Yeah.
Has somebody done an OC of that yet, please? Like I want to see some fan art of that.
So that's what's going on there. No matter what Blizzard does, they just keep stepping in it. It's just a little due diligence would have gone a long way. Just a little. And I get it. Like they're trying to go for like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and stuff. And Cole sounds like a cool cowboy type name,
Yeah, so, but without Papa Jeff in charge anymore, it's just not the same.
Papa Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yes.
The guy that wanted to get controller or keyboard and mouse banned from crossplay in Overwatch because it's so unfair. Just stop it. You stop it. It's Overwatch. What? It really doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, he went to Xbox and or wait, is it on Xbox? Is Overwatch on? Okay. Yeah. He went to Microsoft and Sony and asked them to ban I think he went to Microsoft and asked them to ban people from using keyboards and mice on Xbox and on PC against people on consoles when you're doing crossplay.
That would be such a obnoxious amount of extra unnecessary code.
Yeah, not only that, but just like why do that? There's already isn't there a feature in the game you can just play with people on a console and just leave or have it open to play with anybody?
Yeah, so if you don't want to toggle it off and on or whoever you want to play with. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't want to play with keyboard and mouse people, you just play with people on PlayStation or you just play with whatever.
Yeah, problem solved.
Mm-hmm.
Randomly, I saw this thing for the new Vive glasses. I don't even pay attention to Vive. I just know HTC Vive is a thing.
Yes.
And these new glasses look so goofy to me. So
You know,
they're new VR lenses.
You're right, Sage. There's no cool way to play VR. You're never gonna look cool playing VR. The experience of it when you do run into good VR is awesome, but there's no way you'll ever look cool playing it.
These kind of look like sunglasses, but also like goofy bug glasses.
They kind of look like Booster Gold.
Aviators. They're just ugly aviators.
It looks like Booster Gold from DC Comics or Blue Beetle.
No, because of how thick it is, they're like aviators for Biden after he gets eye surgery.
Yes.
Because they always have like those thick, like.
You know what they look like? You guys ever watch Invader Zim? You know Zim's dad, or the other kid's dad, who's the scientist.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It looks like his glasses.
Oh man, perfect cosplay done.
But from what I can understand, these aren't made for higher end VR. You're not going to be playing like Ace Combat or anything like that. This is more made to pair with a phone, and just to be able to watch media and to watch scenery and stuff like that. Because
media.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the resolution is. I didn't really look at the specs and stuff, but this is more made to pair with a mobile device and stream from that.
We all know the only industry that's creating VR content that's movies right now.
That's who?
You don't know?
Who?
The adult industry.
It's terrible.
It's all
awful.
other technology. They're first to get into it.
It's awful. Well, they need to step their game up because it sucks. I should do a review of that, like it's like a regular game or something. It's awful. But yeah, that's what I got on this. So these are interesting. Keep an eye on it. Also, if you're thinking Vive is still an exclusive thing to Valve and to Steam, it's not. They had a manufacturing partnership with Valve to make the first Steam VR. But since then, Valve themselves have taken over and they have created their own line of VR, which is the Index and like the Index controllers and the light boxes and all that kind of stuff. HTC has spun Vive off into its own company. It's no longer like part of HTC proper because HTC kind of tanked over the last 10 years or so. So they kind of spun it off to protect it so it wouldn't go down with the rest of the ship. But they do their own VR. They have their own VR storefront. You can still use it as native Steam VR. I'm not sure how this would work, probably, but you can still use this as like native VR for Steam, but it is its own thing. It's got its own store.
It's Android only compatible, so Android phone.
Okay.
So not Steam then.
For now, somebody will figure it out in the first day. They always do.
Its resolution it says 3.2K combined, which is 1600 by 1600 per eye.
Per eye. Okay.
Okay, I mean, 100 degrees.
I'm sure
there'll be pretty low resolution.
I'm sure there'll be some people that do some stuff with it. Also, with those, you can get into the super sampling, and you could sample it at a higher resolution if you had the hardware to support it, which does make a difference. It might give you a knock on performance, but you could definitely do that in a lower res thing. But it'll be interesting. I'm gonna definitely check YouTube the day after it comes out because there's gonna be like all kind of weird, wacky stuff the first day. So yeah,
like barely better resolution than my Game Boy camera.
I bet you it's not so bad. I bet you it's kind of on par with the Rift, or not the Rift, but the Quest 2 or the Go 2, whatever they're doing right now. We're gonna get to one of them later on.
Yeah, but not next.
Is that next?
No, we can move things around if you want.
I believe that's after the break.
Oh, that's true.
And actually, since we were just talking about Steam, this is a Steam-related article.
It is. So remember last week we were talking about NFTs?
Yes, and your Precious Dead by Daylight and how people weren't happy with it. Yeah.
And there's some other companies that are under the radar doing it as well. But on the 15th, Steam had announced that they're blocking games and that have NFTs while Epic will try to make it work. So what's that going to do for games that kind of have them incorporated?
Like Dead by Daylight, you play that on Steam.
Yeah.
Or what about games that are actually built around it? There was some creative game that was announced at E3 this past year that's pretty much nothing but NFTs.
Yeah. Those games
I don't remember the name of it.
Those games will not have a place on Steam.
Yeah, no cryptocurrencies allowed there.
Yeah, you know Epic's gonna jump all over this because Epic is just like, yeah, like whatever, yeah, come on over to us, and they'll probably throw them some kind of deal. Like, who even knows? Well,
it's even more weird because Steam has the inbuilt like things that you can collect and buy and trade, like the trading cards or whatever they call it.
Yes.
Those are literally NFTs.
Yeah, but they're their NFTs.
Yes.
And they can control that.
That's the difference.
Well, that's the other thing. Well, and it's
versus
theirs.
them.
Well, that's yeah, but also it's theirs. It's in-house. They have no control over whatever else people want to introduce to their platforms. I think that's what it is. It's more
they have no control over the money.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Is they have no control over the money because
normally I'd say yeah, but I think part of it with Valve is they don't want to deal with the other stuff, like other people's stuff that might reflect back on them. I think I don't think they want the headache. They just were just like, okay, if it's gonna blow up in our face, it'll blow up because it's our shit, and then we can do something with it. But if something else blows up and we get bad press, that wasn't even us. Like if we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot, we're gonna shoot ourselves in the foot, not somebody else on our platform. I think that thing.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it.
Another interesting kind of side tidbit there. Twitter is going to have integrated NFTs.
Oh, of course. I figured Twitter already would.
Yeah, with Dorsey, considering that he's also part of Stripe.
Dorsey, that guy.
Yep.
The modern Howard Hughes, basically. But yeah. So what do you think, Sage? You think they're going to do the thing where if you already own the game on Steam, you have it and it'll just exist, including that feature? Or do you think like press a certain point, it won't be on Steam anymore as far as buying it new? And then if you want to buy it new, it'll have to be on Epic Game Store, like kind of like how Rocket League is right now.
They're already taking away like your option. Well, no, because I don't know how you would like. You can't trade in Dead by Daylight. You can't trade or give people anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it makes no sense to me that their newest DLC is an NFT.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they just using it as a buzzword then instead of using it properly?
Pinhead is the company that helped make him is an NFT company.
So are they just releasing a limited number of copies of it then, and then only certain people get it?
I have no idea. That's what's like super confusing.
Well, the thing is, like, everyone's all in a hoopla about NFTs, but every time you buy a game, there's no difference except for the fact that, you know, if you have a physical disc, you can trade it, but if it's a digital item, now NFTs are the way to trade it.
I suppose. There you go. I was waiting for Q the Boogie. Best money laundering method ever.
Oh, we had money laundering well before that. There was called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I believe Vince had some commentary on our next topic, which was the Nintendo Online service.
I have a lot of commentary on that.
Yeah, you want to take us on a roll?
Looking at the clock right now, approximately an hour and a half ago, it just went live, the upgraded NSO service, Nintendo Switch Online. And it cost a buttload of money. And that's kind of been the top controversy around it, is the buttload of money. There's a secondary controversy around it, which is the so-so one, is that the Genesis in the United States, if you buy the controller for it, is only the 3-button edition, but in Japan, the Mega Drive is the 6-button controller, which is kind of hinting that we're not going to get Street Fighter and 6-button games because we won't have the controller to support it. Or if we do, we're going to not have a good experience here in the States with those 6-button games. But no, the price is the big one that people are having a hoopla about. But the thing to consider is that you're basically paying for the software licensing for like 20, 30, 40 games all in one bundle, even though it's a subscription service rather than a pay once and you own it service. And, a lot of people are like, oh, well, Animal Crossing, if you have that game, the cost is already justified just from Animal Crossing alone. And that's 100% valid. But if you're not into Animal Crossing, you get, the N64 and the Genesis games. And that's, depending on how many of those games you're going to play and how much, you think the licensing is worth for, those software titles. It's kind of a mixed bag.
I'm looking right now. That Sega Genesis Nintendo Online bundle, they have, 20 games on there?
That's what they're starting with. And if it's going to be like the other Nintendo systems, they will be adding more of those over time. And at least for the N64, they've already guaranteed they'll be adding more over time. because they showed off at their direct games like F-Zero, and that's not on there yet.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics bundle that's on Steam. It has over 50 games, and it's on sale right now for $4.44. And you can play it in VR, which I have. It's really weird to play like on this big giant screen. It looks really good, actually. I played it on a HP Reverb G2. It looks really good, actually. It's about as high res as it's more high res than your TV that you used to play it on back in the day. I'll put it that way.
So the question with that specific bundle, and for this one, because I haven't fully looked at the Genesis list here yet, is how many of them are, let's say, first-party Sega titles versus, where they had to license out to EA or Activision or Acclaim
yeah. There's definitely no Madden and stuff in NHL hockey and stuff like that on there.
Yeah, so it's a matter of like how much I have to pay in licensing fees.
And also, I'm looking at these N64 games, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox, or Ocarina of Time. We still have our Wii hooked up, and my kids play the N64 games on the Wii.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Now you can play Kirby Adventure. 1993. Nintendo Entertainment.
But yeah. Okay. Nintendo. They want your money. In case anyone was mistaken, Nintendo wants your money. Okay. Don't ever let it be said that Nintendo ever wanted to leave your money on the table.
See, the thing is that, and there is a chance this could happen because of some deals that they worked a few years ago. All of the bad press would go away overnight if they released GoldenEye 64.
And had a 4-player online.
Doesn't even matter if it's online or not. I mean, yeah, NSO does support online, but regardless, it doesn't even matter. Just having GoldenEye would be such a boom to their press.
But it also would depend on how the multiplayer was implemented. Are you talking like OG, like 4-player split screen?
These are just ROM. These are the original ROMs. Okay. So they're not making new games here. So yeah, it would be the original OG four-player split screen.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
But they have done, like with the SNES and NES, they have done multiplayer already.
I don't know if they could though, because the Bond IP is a mess right now. Like,
the thing is that back before Reggie left, he gave us a GoldenEye remake. He did all the work for the licensing for GoldenEye.
Okay.
And specifically just GoldenEye. So there is a chance that could come out.
Okay. So that's not dependent on what's going on with the Bond rights and stuff right now. Like, that's for life with Nintendo. They can always release GoldenEye.
Well, the thing is, I don't know the terms of the contract. It could have just been for that one-off, redo that they did on either the Wii or the Wii U. I forget which system it was on. Okay. But Reggie at least laid the groundwork for that to potentially happen again.
Okay.
So we'll thanks, see. Reggie.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll just play it on my Steam Deck when that comes out.
So you're just going to admit to piracy then?
No, because I own the game, so it'll be a backup copy.
Did you legitimately dump it yourself?
I went to a service.
Admittedly, I'm actually in the process of getting like the ability to dump most of these systems now, so
nice.
It's an interesting little process. Most of it's just for save games, though, trying to back up save games and restore save games. Especially with the all the old consoles being battery backed for their save files.
Yeah.
If the battery dies, you lose everything.
Yeah.
So I can do NES and SNES right now, and I have one in the mail for Game Boy. I'll get that by the end of the year, and then who knows where it goes from there.
Nice. Very nice. Well, all right. Nintendo Online Service upgrades. And how much was it costing? I don't think we ever said the price, did we?
I want to say it was like 70 or 80 for a family plan now. I think it's like 50 or 60 for an individual.
It was
around there.
30 for a family plan last time I looked.
No, this is for the upgraded one.
Yeah, they have plus expansion pack. Yeah, I think it's $80 a year. Yeah, for 10 systems.
But it's the one thing that a lot of these news outlets are glossing over is that the expansion pack is optional. You're not required to get the expensive one. You can do the traditional, like, $30, $40 a year one rather than the $80 a year one. If you just don't want the N64 and Genesis games.
Yeah, the regular family membership is $34.99. The family membership with the expansion pack is $79.99.
And I think family memberships are up to 8 people or 8 accounts on it.
8.
think it-
Mhm.
yeah.
And at least 4 of them on my family have Animal Crossing. So I just bought the Animal Crossing expansion for the whole family all in one go with that. So at least for me,
That's
it's
cool.
worth it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like all the other retro games aside, Animal Crossing made it worth it, at least for my family plan.
Nice.
I was thinking of it trying to get a family plan, but like all I'd be doing is just making mine and Marika's accounts like able to play on other people's accounts. Like switches and stuff, like our characters cross through.
Yeah. Oh, they show up in their game.
Yeah. Well, like we wanted to test it first, so like if I got a solo one for a month, Castle Crashers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
got hundreds of hours on that game.
we were wondering if we could from our Switch like get hours on ours and then log into our friend's Switch when we're all together at friend's house, and then our characters from our Switch would transfer over. We're not sure.
I don't know how that would work. If you were signed into your account, yes,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
think so.
Like if you log into your account onto their Switch, if your character would transfer over for Castle Crashers.
If the game does the cloud saving, and virtually every game does on the Switch,
Yeah.
that should work.
Yeah, that should work. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I could get the family pack, but everybody who wants to play it, and then we can all have Castle Crashers data together.
Nice. Is that how it works? Like, would you each have to be on your own account? Like multiple people can be signed in on the same account?
It can only be one. Like, if multiple people are playing at the same time,
Mhm.
it has to be different accounts. So even if they're, so like if you have just like different profiles, you could do
Mm.
that. If it's everyone on one profile, the characters don't level up except for the primary.
Okay.
So I was thinking theoretically, if I had an account with an email address and then logged it in from one Switch to the other, that I could transfer over leveled up data and also save data as I go, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd
You
be
should be able
an
to.
interesting experiment to try that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know how that goes.
Soon,
Nice.
sometime over Christmas season. Between now and Christmas, I'll let you know.
Nice. Well, all right. We got our little break here, our little details. Yeah. So welcome to the halfway point of the show. This is Saltier Podcast, proudly sponsored by Voodoo Ranger. Hit us up if you're watching us on twitch.tv, YouTube, Facebook. That's all Saltier Podcast. I believe our Twitter is what's different, right? Salt_tier pod. Is that correct? Where's at the IG? But pretty much if you Google Saltier Podcast, we're going to be like the only thing that comes up. So we're all on your favorite podcast places like your SoundCloud, your iTunes, your Google. What's it called now? And Google Music. I don't know. They've rebranded it like twice since the last time I looked. So whatever your Google Play, Google Podcast thing is, we're on there as well. Am I leaving something out? This isn't usually what we do. This is always usually Loud and Brown or somebody.
I know. I want to say no. I don't think at the moment we are.
Yep.
Oh,
So
he always adds Christian Mingle.
Yeah. Hit us up on all those places. Christian Mingle. I was gonna say something else, but yeah. And we do the podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're tuned into one of those places, you can watch us live. But if not, no big deal. You can watch the replays eventually on YouTube and on Twitch, wherever you do record these. And they're also on our Facebook page as well. So yeah. On the grinder. Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, it'd be interesting if Voodoo Ranger did a throwback with 3D effects. You know, the Voodoo.
Oh,
They
that's
might.
true.
Yeah.
If you're out there listening to us.
Who owns the rights? Is that NVIDIA? Yeah, NVIDIA owns the rights for
No,
3D
I
effects.
do believe that the actual branding name went to somebody else recently.
Okay.
That could have just been one of those fake internet troll accounts. I don't know, though.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? You're right. I saw something about that. The person that owns the right was like rumbling about maybe making more graphics cards or doing something.
It could have been a bit. I don't remember if that or the other thing was a fake thing I was reading online, because there was also one of the old gaming companies claimed they were coming back. It was like Interplay or somebody was coming back, and then it turned out to be a fake scam. And
yeah, I remember
the internet has been weird lately.
Yeah, both of those were like within like the last year or so, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what we got next there, Sage Bell?
What do we have? Looks like. Oh, okay. John Carmack pushes out unlocked OS for defunct Oculus Go headset. I did not pre-read that. My mouth was just like, "Whoa."
The words.
Sound coordinated while speaking.
First up, you guys know who John Carmack is. He's kind of like this, small, no-name indie dev.
Yeah. For those that don't know, or for those that might only know his name in passing, could you let her know? I mean, could you let the peoples know?
Well, he made a cute little indie game called Commander Keen. But then he got together with a few buddies, and well, actually, before that, he made a clone of Mario Brothers that Nintendo rejected for PC. So he made Commander Keen as a platformer to follow up. And then they're like, oh, I'm really good at math. Let's do real-time textured rendering on a PC. And they were the first ones to do it with Doom. And then they went on to do Quake and a whole bunch of other games. And basically one of the co-founders of id Software.
Lead programmer on
and Armadillo Space Agency too. He had his own company for a while.
Yeah. So if you guys think about it, I mean, id Software is still very, very relevant. Their last two Doom games, very highly
involved
rated.
in either though.
Yeah, yeah, he was. He's been away from the company for a while, since like 2000.
No, it was more recent than that. Because it was right around the development of Doom 2016 that he left. It was during that dev cycle.
Okay.
And he left because he was asked to go be basically the co-runner of Oculus, even though after it was formed, because the founder of Oculus was actually tragically killed in like a car crash or something like that. I think it was a hit and run. And they were looking for new creative direction, and he was one of the people they brought in to help basically run Oculus and work on the core technology for Oculus.
Yeah, so I may have a little insider experience, a little insider knowledge of all this, because I may or may not have worked affiliated with the Oculus hardware and software. So yeah, I got to see like a little bit of his influence. He's more there in like name only. It's not like I was working elbow to elbow with him, but yeah, that was kind of a mind-blowing thing, thinking that he was involved down the pipe with some of that stuff that we were working on.
Yep. Yeah, he's not officially with Oculus anymore. He quit a year or two ago, but now they still keep him around as like a quote-unquote consultant. And one of the things that they let him do this week was release an unlocked OS for the Oculus Go headset. And his whole reasoning is that if somebody finds a random shrink-wrapped copy 20 years from now in some warehouse that's long forgotten, he wants them to be able to turn it on, boot it up, and still have it work, and everything still be awesome about it.
Yeah. And Oculus, when they first came out, they had the Rift, and that was the big thing. You saw that all on TV. That was one of like the first big mainstream VR headsets. Still very popular. I think Sagebell, you still have mine, don't you?
I do. What else?
But the Go is more of their mobile headset. If you guys remember the Samsung Gear VR, this is kind of the next evolution of that. But it does not require a phone. It's got its own hardware and everything built into it. And that was relatively popular. That helped propel it and helped keep it going forward until what's the newest one they have right now? It's the Go now, right?
I don't even know what they're calling the current hardware.
It's the Quest. Yeah, it's the Quest 2 is the newest one. Crazy fact about that is that has outsold everything Oculus has ever released before combined in the first couple months it was out. If you look at the Steam hardware survey, a couple of months ago or about a year ago, there's maybe about 3% of people on Steam with a VR headset plugged in. You look now and it's more like 25-30% people of Steam, and that thing's exploded, and it's actually made VR a little bit more mainstreamy, and people are a little bit more, and it's a really good investment. I mean, as far as like money, because for $300 you get the thing, you get the controls, and in my opinion, the Rift controls are amongst some of the best in all of VR. So you get that in a headset which can plug into your PC. It will be a little bit lower res than ones that you can get dedicated for your PC, but it's still playable. But yeah, for $300, it's a pretty good value proposition. A lot of people have bought into it, and it's pushed VR actually a little bit more closer to that mainstream. Definitely more than it was before it came out.
Facebook is advertising VR really heavily on television right now.
Yeah, because that thing's selling like crazy. They're making hand over fist, and it's like I said, it's outsold everything else Oculus ever released ever in the first couple months it was out. So yeah, and like I said, look on Steam, it's crazy. It went from 3% to like 25% in like a couple months, which is huge. So yes, John Carmack definitely had a hand in some of that. You could see some of his influence. He had pet projects and stuff. Some of the games that came out when Oculus Rift first released. So yeah, that was
the one other note here is that for him to do this, it's perfectly in character form. It's not quite fully in character, but what he always did with id Software is a little while after releasing a game, he would just release the source code. You can legitimately get the source code to Doom, Quake, and like all his games all the way through the EdTech whatever engine for Doom 3. And you only had to pay a license for the content. You didn't have to pay a license for the software.
It's the reason why you still see games like what is it, like Ultimate Doom and stuff like that still coming out in this year day and age. And also when you think about PC gaming, he is one of the forefathers of it all. I mean, Doom. I mean, that alone blew up PC gaming and put it on the map. It was already doing okay before that, but that really exploded it into the mainstream. And like Vince was saying, having things, releasing, like coding tools and stuff like that. That's now a norm in PC gaming. Like, it's weird when games
started that 20 years ago.
30
or more.
Almost.
30, yeah. And so, you mentioned Half-Life earlier. Half-Life is actually a port of Quake.
Yes.
Half-Life is based on the Quake source code.
And we can look at the Dota International, which just ended, and half of the sound effects and voiceovers in that game are Quake sound bites. They have Ultra Kill and all that stuff that you would expect to hear in a Quake game. A lot of that's in Dota. And that game, that tournament just ended with what, an $80-something million prize pool, and a big part of that game is Quake quotes.
By the way, if you have not played the game called Ultra Kill, which has nothing to do with id Software at all, but if you play Ultra Kill, it is fun as hell. I love that game.
Yeah, I played the demo. I haven't bought the full game yet, but yes, I still have the demo installed. Just remind me to buy the other game when it comes out.
Go buy it tonight.
Yeah, it's good. Ultra Kill is fantastic. There's a lot of really good retro Doom-ish throwback shooters right now.
Lately, in the past couple months, I
think they call them boomer shooters is what they're called.
That's me.
Yep.
That's me.
Yeah, so there's and I would definitely agree. Ultra Kill is amazing. Go play that. At least go check out the demo. It's for free on Steam. Go check that out. So yeah, shameless plug for that. We're not sponsored, but it's a good game. What we got next? Oh, this is a good one. This is a shout out to all my PS friends who are like, just want to dangle those games over your head. And you're like, if I wanted to play them, I would just get a PlayStation. So obviously I'm not dying to play them. I tease a lot of my friends and say like a lot of those games that they want to push on you are third person action adventure, open world-ish, mini map, walking, collectathon, cutscene simulators. So like if you look at all the big games on the PlayStation, you got your Last of Us, you got your God of Wars, you got your pretty much all the games, third person, mini map, collect the things. But basically, oh wait, which one is this?
That's the one afterwards.
Yeah, it's all good. We will get to that one since we're talking about PlayStation. But God of War 2018 has just been announced, and that will be coming out for the PC very soon in January. I think January 12th or January 22nd, something like that. Which is kind of a big deal. Even if you don't plan to buy it, it's a big deal because you're seeing these games come out sooner and sooner for PC. And I watched a video and somebody made a really good point. They said eventually most console games come out for PC, but the vast majority of PC games will never come out for a console. So to see Sony speeding this up, it's nothing but good. More variety is always good. It's really good too if you've owned a PlayStation, even if you have a PS5. If you want to see this game truly maxed out and you've got a decent gaming rig, you can play it at better frame rates and stuff, at least in like a PS5 or something can handle it. You can maybe run this at like 120 at like 1080p or something like that. This game will have uncapped frame rates. It will have 4K textures. It will have all the nice auto slider. It'll probably be rough, a little bit rough, like Horizon Zero Dawn was at the beginning, but people weren't really complaining because it was cool just to have Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. So yeah, that's kind of
at this point, consoles are just PCs anyway now.
Yeah, to me, that was one of the biggest turning points in consoles was the last generation. You had your move from Atari to 8-bit, and then from 8-bit to 16, and then you had online play, and then you had the introduction of HD graphics, and then you had the introduction of online play and force feedback on controllers and vibration and stuff. To me, one of the biggest steps forward in video games, probably like top two, was the last generation moving everything to x86 PC architecture. Because at that point, you can have way more games going back and forth. You can have the things natively talk to each other. and ports and performance and things of this nature would gradually over time start to like smooth out over both systems, because developers are used to developing across PCs and consoles. If they're good at one, before it was like really weird. You had to be a specialist in just PlayStation hardware, and you had to be a specialist in just Xbox hardware, and you had to be a specialist in PC hardware.
The original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
The original Xbox was a Pentium 3 processor running Windows.
Yes, it was. And basically the Dreamcast, even though it had a weird processor, it did come with Windows CE on there. So it did have like a compatibility layer. And you did see a lot of PC games go back and forth between the Dreamcast and the PC because of that layer. So yeah, shout out to the Dreamcast, you're right, and to the original Xbox. But now in the mainstream, even including the Switch, it's an ARM processor, but there are a lot of like it's similar.
Nintendo's been using ARM for a long time, though. The Game Boy Advance was an ARM processor.
Yeah.
So all of their handhelds for 20 years have been there.
Yes. But specifically, this one's made by NVIDIA, who specifically now they own ARM, or at least the deal will be going through here.
That still hasn't been approved.
Yeah, at least the deal is in the works and stuff like that. But they have been using it in their products like the Shield and stuff like that. And those were made with PC compatibility in mind. So it's cool to see it's starting to pay off now finally. So that being said, what games on PlayStation, whether you play them or not, if there's some PlayStation games that you like back in the day, it doesn't matter for the system. What games on PlayStation would you like to see come natively to PC without any bells and whistles, any emulation, anything like that? Do you want me to start off? Because I have a little list here. Did you guys already have some off the top of your head? Nothing on PlayStation?
I got one game.
What you got, Vince?
It's a game I run back to for the joke for everything that I just want everything to happen with. I want DDR. Nothing fancy, nothing special.
That's actually a good pick.
Bring back DDR.
Yeah,
well, because like whenever anybody ever asks, like, what's your favorite like shipping pair in a video game, I'm like the left arrow and right arrow on DDR because they're so far apart.
Wow.
They just want to be together again.
Siphon Filter would be excellent too. All the Ninja Gaiden game. Ninja games? You mean Ninja Gaiden? Because that would be cool. Although for that you would, what version of that would you want? I think isn't there Ninja Gaiden on the PC now. I'm pretty sure there is. Sagebell, did you have anything?
I mean, we're getting God of War. That was like mine because I never had the opportunity to play any PlayStation games. Like Xbox games kind of, eventually were like immediately PC games at the same time. So I was able to not miss out on a lot of the, at least Xbox style games, but like, yeah, anything that's like PlayStation I never played.
Little Big Planet.
That would fit in perfectly on the PC, especially if you can mod it and add stuff to it.
Yeah, Little Big Planet would be like probably actually my number one.
That'd be a pretty big smash hit on there.
Is Spider-Man still staying exclusive?
That would be a good one as well. Because then you would basically have every Spider-Man game on PC, because pretty much eventually every Spider-Man game comes out for PC. So yeah, that'd be a good one. Top of your list there. Just like even if you don't get it, like just to know that it's there, you can pick it up on sale. And just more people can play it. The modding and stuff on there would be amazing too.
I mean, we already own the Spider-Man games and the Last of Us games for PlayStation, so I don't need them on PC.
Yeah, but then you can have them all nice and neat in your Steam library and everything. And actually, you could probably run them in probably better settings and stuff on your PC.
Probably older Soul Calibers.
That is true. Isn't most of the Soul Calibers? What's the first Soul Calibur that was on PC? Was that like 4?
I'm pretty sure it's 5. I don't think 4's on PC.
I think 4 might be on there, but that would be a good one. You're right. Like 1 through 3. That'd be great.
Blade going back older.
That'd be great too. Yeah, because that was a PS1 game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be great too. My games off the top of my head, I'd have to say number 1, Bloodborne, Persona 5. Dragon's Crown, which is a side-scrolling beat 'em up. We were talking about Castle Crashers before, but this one's got like this like really weird, like it's hard to describe. I'd have to like link it or something like that. But it's a really cool side-scrolling multiplayer beat 'em up along the lines of a Double Dragon or Castle Crashers or something like that. It's only on the PlayStation, and they've only ever been on PlayStation.
Soul Calibur 6 is the only thing that's on PC.
Really? Okay.
Soul Calibur 4 is 360 and PlayStation 3.
Okay.
It's a while ago.
So those would be my games. Your Bloodborns, your Persona 5s, which eventually hopefully would come to PC. They've released Persona 4 and Persona 4 the Battle Royale, the beat 'em up one, but they skipped Persona 5 for some reason. Also, I'd like to throw in Parappa the Rapper. Love that game. And I would like to throw in God Hand, because apparently that's never going to come out for anything ever. So if you're going to release it, can we get it on the PC? God Hand was like a really goofy, over the top, kind of a forerunner to like Bayonetta and games like that, where you were just it was really crazy, kind of a Fist of the North Star, stupid, goofy, punching gods in the face, Bayonetta style type stuff.
You know, I don't think the Tony Hawk games are on PC.
Yes, actually.
They are?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
They all came out on PC, plus the remake that just came out, the 1 and 2 remake.
So it just happened then.
I want to say the older ones were. I could be wrong. I could be remembering wrong. I might have actually played them on a PS1, but the remakes though are, other than the soundtracks being changed, they're great.
They're on the Epic Game Store. That's why.
It's still a PC.
No, I don't count games on EGS as when's the PC version come out? Oh, it's already on Epic Games. Like, or when's the PC version coming out? And I don't count that.
Even still, like I'm at the point where I'm kind of done with Steam too. I want everything on GOG.
When GOG, who promised no DRM and then put a game with DRM on there.
Owned
by CD Projekt Red, who's the parent company of the company that. Oh my, they're not flawless either.
They're not flawless, but one game with DRM versus literally every game with DRM. I mean, you go.
I guess.
Look at the numbers.
And for the maniacs out there who don't know what that means,
DRM is hell.
Yeah, it's digital rights management. But yeah, it's basically like you own. It's like the licensing and all that stuff that goes along with your game.
Like with Steam, you have to be logged into your Steam account. With GOG, they just give you a blank installer, and they don't care if you're logged in anything or have their installer or anything. You can just install the game, run it, and if you want to install it on 10 computers, install it on 10 computers, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to stand for Good Old Games, but they just kind of call it GOG now. They've kind of gotten away from that because they're doing all new games at this point.
And plus, it's 2021. You probably couldn't have that good old in anything like that. So,
but there are a lot of good classics on there for dirt cheap price, and they have sales all the time.
Yes, they are excellent for especially because that was the original thing, was making sure that older games were still playable on newer hardware and stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to go back and play retro stuff,
they have like pre-made DOSBox environments where you just literally just double click and it has everything pre-configured and the games just work and you don't got to think about it.
Yeah, so if you're boomer gamers like us and you want to go play like Wing Commander 3 on your brand new 2021 PC, you could do that. So yeah, Wing Commander 2 was my game though. Wing Commander 2 was tight. Anyway,
I do have all those in my library.
Yes, yeah, me too. I made sure to buy it, and I made sure I went back, and I already knew I owned it, but I went back and looked and made sure I owned all the GTA games because they're about to pull those down for the remasters, and those are going to be censored and all kind of weird stuff. So I made sure
I forgot all the GTA games were getting pulled for the remaster for some BS reason.
Yeah, just like they did with Skyrim. You can still buy original Skyrim. It's just not on the storefront. So if you go to a site like Is There Any Deals and you search for just regular Skyrim and click the Steam link, it'll take you to the store Steam link and you can buy it. But if you search for it on Steam, all they show you is the remastered one. So yeah, it's going to be stuff like that going on. But yeah, I guess we're gonna wrap it up here. Everybody, thanks for hanging. Was that the last topic there?
I believe so. Oh,
really quick. Since we're talking about PlayStation, we're talking about old games that we want to see played. London, can you can pull up that last one now? The one that you had a minute ago. Basically, there is an emulator for the PS3, and they've been tinkering with this. It's about 10 years old now. Is this PCSX? I believe is the one they're talking about here. But basically, they hit a milestone. Every single game. I was at a RPC S3. They hit a milestone where every original game that was on the PS3 is now at least bootable in their emulator. They had different tiers. They had games that would run and they would be supported. You could play them as normal. And then they had games where you had to tinker with to get the run. They had games that you could tinker with and they'd sort of run, but then you had games
glitches or
ability
issues.
Compatible, yeah, stuff like that. And then they had ones that just didn't boot. Well, as of a couple days ago, everything at least boots now, which is kind of crazy because think about how many games were out on the PS3. The PS3 was very finicky and very hard architecture to emulate and to design for.
Just to program for in general, it was a pain in the ass.
It was a nightmare.
Sony went off the rails designing that hardware.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier how everything switched to x86 architecture.
Yeah,
that's exactly why they did it with the PS5. Yep. Yeah. With the PS4 and 5, and that's exactly why Xbox did it too. Because while it was slightly easier to program for the Xbox 360, it was still a pain in the butt.
The PowerPC architecture,
and it had like the tri graphic card thing in there. Yeah, it had like some weird stuff in there. So that's why you saw both of them switch. They basically did the opposite of what they did with the 360 and the PS3.
Yeah, the new consoles are so much a PC. AMD is now selling the flawed chips that are imperfect, where they'll just lock a core or lock down the GPU slightly to lower performance, and they're selling those chips now.
Yeah, I saw that. Like basically, you can buy like overseas, you could buy a PC that's basically got a PS5 CPU in it,
or the Xbox One, either one.
Yeah, and I think they disabled the graphics part of it, but it's the same chip basically. It's just yeah. I saw that too. That's crazy.
Also, just real quick, real good shout out to the picture of this PC here. Like, I love that Windows 95 aesthetic going on. The mismatched optical drive.
Honestly, I want to build a little sleeper PC like this and put like some badass stuff in it and just have it look like super retro.
I miss those. My arms hurt looking at this.
I miss those old clacky keyboards too.
The IBM Model M are freaking expensive now. They're collector's items. I was looking at Level 1 Tech. They have a repair kit that's just like the rubber base underneath the keys. Just that one piece of rubber is $40. You can only imagine what the rest of the keyboards are going to cost at that point with like new keycaps and new springs and everything else.
And this stuff got thrown out by like the millions. Like it got recycled. Well, like before they were recycling, they're probably just throwing them in landfills and whatnot.
Yep.
And now people are like, no, I want that old PC stuff.
Well, it's just like, the Apple II a few years ago, you could pick one up for like $50. And now there's several hundred to get an Apple II.
Wow.
Yeah, Apple IIs are worth as much as the modern consoles.
That's still a pretty good deal. I'd buy an Apple IIe. I'm considering it. I miss that thing. That was like the one Apple product that I loved.
Or Trail.
Yeah, T-Rex. I want to play T-Rex on it again.
Well, that and when I was in school, I don't know the name of it, but we had this paper airplane game. It was a physics game where you had to like pick the angle of attack and how much like force on the rubber band to launch your paper airplane and see how far you can launch it. And
nice. Yeah. They taught us how to code on with using logo on that thing. But yeah, that's what's going on there. But we're gonna wrap this up. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for coming back for another week. This has been Saltier Podcast, sponsored by Voodoo Ranger. Thank you to Vince Rants for joining us once again. Be sure to check out your local stores and look for that Atomic Pumpkin or your Mountain Time. This is by New Belgium, which is also like the parent company of Voodoo Ranger. Find us on where are we at? Twitch. I mean, where are we at, you guys? We're on twitch.tv. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. These are all Saltier podcasts. If you Google us and just Google Saltier Podcast, you will find us on all the different places. We're on all your favorite podcasting places. We're on SoundCloud. We're on whatever the heck Google's calling their thing now. I think it's just Google Podcast. I don't even know.
We're somewhere.
Yeah, we're somewhere.
Google rebrands all their services every week anyway.
All the time. Yeah, and I think they changed it twice since it was Google Music. I think they changed it twice.
Salt_tierpod is the Twitter handle.
We're also on Instagram. That one's also got a goofy one, but it's Salt something Tierpod. I think is the one that's on Salt.tierpod or something like that is the one that's on IG. But yeah, look for us every Monday. We do this live at 8 p.m. But like I said, if you missed us, you can catch us in all those other places. Sagewell, you got anything to plug? Are we good?
You'll see me on Thursdays this week. I will not be streaming Wednesday. So I will be back on Thursday streaming. I don't know what I'll be streaming, but I'll see you around probably 6 p.m.
You should stream Square Enix's award-winning Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn.
The entire stream will be me sitting in character creation for 3 hours.
Well, there you go. People love that.
That's the best part of the game.
Yeah, people love that. Bunny girl, you need to be a Vera.
Yeah, but you'll have to tell me what your place is again. But you have to do it in like a text because I'll never remember it via.
Yeah, that's true. That I saw the queue times are trying to go back up. So before my server fills back up, you should at least just make your character, just park it, and then that way when you want to play, you can be on the same server.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me what that server is, though.
Okay, I will. All right, cool. Vince
Yeah.
France, you got anything to plug?
I was just gonna say, I'm starting to get back into streaming, so check out Vince Rants on Twitch. That's the only place I'm really doing that right now. And if you want to talk about like really old retro video games, kind of like my Game Boy camera that I got going on, or old consoles hooking up to new TVs and making them look pixel perfect sharp, I'm working on a video review series of old cables and adapters, or new cables and adapters for old consoles. So hop on there, and I'll answer any question you can ever think of for retro consoles on modern hardware.
Sick. That sounds good. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, this is the Saverings ... Find me in the Steam group, because I'm always on Steam, because I'm always usually playing Final Fantasy or talking mess in my in one of my Steam chats. Yeah. Look at our Steam group. Well, we've got a list of games that we play on there. So if you play any of that competitively or casually, or just want to play with some people, hit us up on there. We give away free games every time we hit like a milestone, every 10 people or something like that. Recently picked up a bundle on Humble Bundle, so we got some really cool fighting games to give away. Soul Calibur, we were just talking about that. Yeah, got Soul Calibur giveaway. You never know when you get picked. We'll do announcements and stuff where we're going to give away a game. But if you want to follow the podcast, follow us on there as well. It's just Saltier Podcast on Steam as well. But that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining. Thanks, shout out to Keith the Boogie and everyone else.
Have a happy Halloween.
Yes. Have a happy and safe Halloween. It's on a Sunday this year. That sucks.
Yeah.
But see you guys later. Bye. Finn.